Well, if you recognize that music, you'll know what type of video this is going to be, but I'm not going to use this music for the third time in a row. One thing I want to make really clear is that the purpose of this video is not to prove that I'm better than him at the game or anything like that. The goal is to showcase the type of behavior that we all want to avoid. Enjoy. Hey guys, and welcome to an episode of a series that apparently occurs annually. In the time after I made this video, I've encountered dozens of toxic people that are either upset about a loss or just angry at the game for some reason and feel the need to message me. Now, most of the time I don't respond, and to the few I do respond, the situation usually de-escalates. But sometimes, these kids behind their screens just keep on talking. And if you're one of those people who I end up responding to, there's a chance I'll tell you to prove that you're the For Honor god that you say you are and 1v1 me. 90% of the time I'll get some response like, "You're not worth my time," or some excuse like that. And if that's the case, I don't know why you messaged me in the first place. But in some special cases that happen once a year, I might actually end up dueling one of these guys. And oh my, this might be the most toxic one yet. But before we get into that, I want to point out that there's a lesson here. Don't be like this guy. It's simple. Play against others in the way you want to be played against, and accept the fact that it's not always going to go your way. I know there's plenty of For Honor content featuring little kids that rage, but you gotta trust me when I say they're in the minority. 99% of people that I run into are having fun with the game, making it fun for others, and might even drop me a positive message. I also want to say don't go out of your way to message or report the guy featured in this video. I know my little voice disclaimer won't stop at all, but I'd almost feel bad if I didn't say anything to discourage it. Alright then, let's take a look at our first encounter with a communist?
Round one.
Okay, so just after this first engagement, we've got some quick chat WoW spamming and running away from an out of stam opponent to get a shield buff. This guy's obviously the more honorable and better player. Now that we've seen how our first fight played out, I'm going to go through the other fights and messages that lead up to us dueling. This is just an example of a pure one-on-one fight with no feats and no revenge, but he still is pissed off somehow. And here's a clip of him killing me. I'm already low health and he even ends up killing me with revenge. Right here is just a hilarious clip of his comrade attempting to be cheeky and hit me with a bomb, and then trying to impaling charge me off the cliff, but he just ends up killing himself. Believe me, I could hardly stop laughing when this happened in game. Here's a quick peek at what my messages looked like with this particular player. One of this guy's main issues seems to be that he hates ganking, but when my team is offering him a 1v1, he literally just pops revenge and starts trying to fight off the whole team. I mean, how upset can you be if you're asking to be ganked? I've got some more funny deathmatch stuff, but this video is already looking like it's going to be pretty long, so let's get to the rest of the messages and the duel. So the first thing he says is the classic "you're a trash no life," apparently because I ganked, even though at this point we already had a few 1v1s. I then just point out a couple of things that I think gives him no right to complain, and he goes on to say that that makes him a better duelist than me, and that my team is apparently toxic trash as well. I do give him a chance to be chill here, but he confirms that he isn't at all joking, and that I'm somehow the one ruining the community, even though he is the perfect example of why some people stop playing this game. After challenging me to a duel and trying to make it seem like I'm the one that has something to prove here, we pick a time to fight. One little thing that I found funny here was that he said that he knows what it feels like to be scared of himself. Those were the last of the messages before our first duel, so I'll cut back on the narration and let's get into the matchup.
Round one.
I honestly wasn't surprised by him doing this, and all it even does is make it look like he's just that desperate to win. A logical person would think ahead and realize that this would kind of invalidate any potential victory, but who knows what goes on in some people's heads. This next round I basically just lose to lag, so take it as you will, but he sure does get excited by looking at the scoreboard. I know the narration might get annoying, so I'm just going to let the next couple of rounds play and speed up some of the staring contest. You might not believe it after that last round, but he actually calls me a turtle about halfway through the duel, even though he just sat by the wall and waited for me to do something for literally minutes on end. Oh well though, quite a shame I lost that best of 9, but I'm not even really sure if I count it considering the first 2 rounds. Anyways, you can see right here, he's super pleased with himself, and I was actually really surprised he rematched me. Big mistake on his part, really. Of course, he's super confident going into our next match, and even tries to say that it's somehow not his fault that he killed me when I was AFK. I mean, we're playing in a custom match with an unlimited timer, and the whole reason you're fighting me is to prove that I'm trash at the game. Killing me like that just proves you're that thirsty for a win in a video game. I expected him to pick Shugoki, which he did, so I stayed as Black Prior, because in my personal experience, a decent bash is the only reliable way to kill a Shugoki, considering he'll just hyper armor anything else. So of course at the end of this match, he's just upset at me for the character I'm playing and tells me that he'll beat me for sure if I switch off BP. I try to get him to own up to losing a little bit, and he just tells me how he doesn't know how to play Shugoki and how I just spam bashes. And sure, I use the bash a decent amount, but when all you're doing is trying to time hyper armor attacks, that's exactly what you're forcing me to do. So I switch to Kensei and he switches to Shaman and we go back at it. I'm going to let this match play through and then we'll take a look at the last of the messages.
Victory! Victory! Round 8. Victory!
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed watching those fights, and again, I'm not fighting him to simply prove I'm better at the game than he is. My hope is that he learned from this, so maybe he won't be so toxic in the future, and maybe he'll take his ego down a notch. Near the end of the match, he tells me I'm light attack spamming, but as you know, just a bit earlier he called me a turtle, so I guess what he wants to happen is for me to do nothing but give him easy parries and miss all my blocks. Right here I let him know exactly what just happened and point out how he's being hypocritical. His response is to call me Chef of the Trash. Not sure what the whole one-handed thing is about, considering it's impossible to move and guard at the same time with one hand. In the last video I did related to this, a lot of you guys wanted me to let him know that he was going to be on YouTube, so I did that, and I gotta admit his reaction was pretty funny. I guess he really just didn't understand what YT means in a gamertag. Also, huge coincidence, this Army Kami used to play with Yusaaa from the last video. I had a ton of fun with this whole interaction, and I truly hope you all enjoyed the video, or at least had a laugh. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I'll be responding to or hearting every comment with hashtag ChefOfTheTrash somewhere in it, so be sure to use that if you want to talk.